one set of skills, because we want people from diverse backgrounds coming in, people who can offer diverse experiences with them. And so my backgrounds are in psychology and in research, and so I think some of it was the ability to digest copious amounts of material. There is a lot of that. Some of it is quite technical, and be able to distill it down to make really good decisions. I think also being, in those days, a relatively young councillor and being engaged at the school level with other parents, it gave me an ear to hear what people who are often disengaged with council because they're busy working, they're busy looking after their families, they often don't have time to engage well with council. So just also being able to bring their perspective forward, not just my own. If you do have an interest in standing, go sit in on a meeting, read some of those papers, get a feel for what it is you're trying to grapple with, because while you'll have the ear of certain people and they'll be talking to you, you've just got to always remember they bring one perspective. And so yes, I was listening to younger people, but I made sure I got out there and talked to people at age concerned things. So then I wasn't just listening to one group, and I think that's really that key thing is I don't think there's ever been a decision on council where everyone in the community would say we love that decision. There is no perfect decision, so that's why you do have to just distill a lot of information from different people, and there will be compromises you need to make. You can't be so sort of set in your way, because I guess my rule of thumb is if you go in there with it's all or nothing, odds are you will get nothing, council will deliver nothing, and so you actually have to go, these are the areas that we shouldn't compromise on, these are the areas that there needs to be some flexibility or movement on. It really takes your first 3 years to really get your feet under the table, because there is a lot of things like long-term plans that only happen once every 3 years. And so you've only done it once, and then the second time you actually go, okay, well, the organisation could do this different, or I could do this different, or we could engage with the community better. So you always actually, and I think if you go in there with that continual learning mindset, I think that's one of the most critical things is how can we do better, how can we listen more, how can we engage better. Some people do it as a part-time job. I just felt I wanted to go into every meeting having read everything, not just the executive summaries. I wanted to read everything. I wanted to go to those community meetings. Even if I was a Richmond ward councillor, I would go to meetings in Murchison. I would go to meetings in Motueka, because if it was a topic that cut across the whole region, and of course the ward system is just how you're elected in, that's how you're voted in, but your oath is you're a Tasman District Councillor, and 90% of the decisions related to the district as a whole, not just to my ward. Council has so many pieces of legislation that it's beholden to, more than you would imagine. It's over 100 that you actually have to follow. It has strict guidelines under the Local Government Act of when you can make certain decisions. There might be certain things that are already so far in train that you cannot stop it. And so talk to current councillors, talk to previous ones. When you get in there, take the opportunity to learn about the role, learn about the legislation. For me, the legislation was always the key. For me, understanding the legislation and the process, because that's how you can affect change. Because if you can't just suddenly put your hand up at a meeting and I'm resolving this, and it just doesn't work that way. So if you can understand the process, then you know when best to engage and how to prepare for it. So learn, talk to people, get their knowledge as well.